really enjoy traveling, going to different places to be able to experience the cultures that there as well as the entertainment that might be there. Something I don't enjoy doing, though, is flying. Now, giving this homily last night was pretty easy. I had Deacon Greg here. Today we have Deacon Richard here, who is a pilot. Deacon Richard, I'm sure if I was on your plane, I would love flying. But you know, first of all, you go through all that security and then had to wait for your flight. And then you take off and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, this flight has to almost be over. And you look at your watch and you're like, oh, it's only been a half an hour. Or even at the end, you know, now you're able to look at either your smartphone or at a tablet of what's going on in the plane. And you're like, oh, I only have a half an hour left. Oh, I only have 29 minutes left. 28, 27. That time of flying, waiting to finally get to the destination and enjoy where I was hoping to go. That waiting. The waiting that we hear about in our first reading, waiting for the Messiah to come. That the people of Israel waited for so long for the Messiah. And then Jesus came. And his herald was John the Baptist. But even John the Baptist was worried at the end, sending some of his disciples to find out if it is truly Jesus who is the Messiah. And Jesus reassures him of it. How sad that must have been for St. John the Baptist. St. John the Baptist, who is in prison, who is about to have his head taken from him. And yet, he wasn't even sure at this point if this was the Messiah that was to come. What joy of the coming of the Savior there was. What joy this must have brought to John the Baptist, hearing that these things are happening, the signs of the Christ to come are happening around him. What joy it must have been for the people of God that they know that the Messiah is there. There must have been joy and rejoicing by so many people. This Sunday is the third Sunday of Advent, the Sunday in which we call it Gaudete Sunday. Gaudete Sunday, where we wear the rose-colored vestments. Gaudete Sunday, where the word Gaudete translates as rejoice. Rejoice. The celebration of the Savior's coming is right around the corner. Rejoice. Now, I know at this time there's a lot of stress in people's lives. You know, you're doing those last-minute things that have to happen for Christmas. But do you have joy? Not joy in the parties that we go to, not joys in the great meals that we have or whatever else that we celebrate during Christmas, but do you have joy in our Savior Jesus Christ? Do you have joy in celebrating his birth, that historical event in which God is with us was revealed to the world? Having that joy that the people of God had at Jesus' birth, that joy that John the Baptist had, the joy that all the saints have had throughout time. Do you have that joy? Look into your hearts and see if you have that joy. If your joy is being overwhelmed by your daily tasks that you need to do, ask yourself, how many of these things actually have to be done? Ask yourself, why am I allowing these things to overwhelm my joy? For the joy of Christ should outweigh anything that is going on in our lives. Why would we allow anything to take that joy away from us?